thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. I reckon I know somebody who is standing quietly just beyond our sight, keeping an eye on us and smiling warmly at the gathering of all of us here this morning. That's Shirley. I heard the warmth, the gentle conversation, the gentle murmur of voices saying g'day and getting together and having a chat. And I reckon that's Shirley. I reckon it's Shirley, perfectly to a T. And a beautiful, elegant, gentle beginning to our tribute to Shirley this morning. And a big thank you especially to all those who are very much with us on our streaming service. You are with us, please, you are with us just as much as if you were sitting here with us now. Claire, Shirley's youngest daughter, for all gathered here. You're not able to be with us, Claire. But please accept our love and our thoughts. You are here. And I know where you are, 2 hours south of Perth. I know that you are surrounded by friends. And equally on the streaming service, a big welcome to friends and relatives watching on with us today from Auckland, from Bali, Batto Bay, Cowra, Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne, Nowra, Opal Aged Care here in Lakes, and any other family and friends who may be watching. Welcome to you all. You're going to hear this word a couple of times today, and I'm so pleased that you will. Shirley was the epitome of a lady. Yes? She was a quiet soul. She was a lovely lady. Not truly outgoing, but with a beautiful sense of humour. And my note says, from when I met with Peter and Paula the other day, that this lady lived her life to the absolute full. She was creative, she was caring and loving, she was open-hearted and open-armed. She was an absolute hoarder though. How many of you here know that? She still got the first pair of socks she ever had, we said. She's got postcards, she's got letters kept from forever ago. She's got 50 photo albums. We're only going to be here for about 36 minutes, I think, for the photos. No, I'm just joking. But she loved DVDs. She loved movies. Let's just, for example, say My Fair Lady. Beautiful, beautiful movie. Well, Shirley kept a ratings book. With notes, she did. A ratings book of every video and DVD she's watched, which began back in the 70s. And I'm here to tell you, as we pay tribute to Shirley today, at 92 and a half Paula years of age, there is a teddy in Shirley's arms that is 92 and a half years old. Well, it might be a little bit older because he was born before Shirley. Shirley said to Paula and Pete there a while ago, would it be a bit funny if I took Teddy with me? And Paula said, no, you can take your Teddy, Shirley. Mum, you can take your Teddy. So please, today, it is a time of tears. While we celebrate Shirley's life beautifully and with warmth and love in our hearts, it is a time of tears. We can't help that. It's a time of tears we share, dried by the smiles, as we remember Shirley's life, as we reinforce our memories And as we give thanks to Shirley for having been a wondrous part of our life for all these years. Now I'm going to begin our tributes to Shirley today, and very proud to be able to share this. Paula, thank you. I'll say it again. Shirley was the epitome of a gracious lady. All who knew her throughout her life were taken by her beautiful, calm nature, her freely offered friendship, and her enduring love and caring. Shirley was born in Petersham in Sydney, the first child to Jack and Alice Jeffrey. They went on to have two more siblings, for Shirley a brother Milton and a sister Marilyn. Shirley went on to primary and high school in Paddington in Sydney, and after school she went on to work as a secretary to the marketing manager of David Jones. Shirley married in 1950 and had three children, Jeffrey in 1951, Paula 1953 and Claire 1962. However, sadly the marriage ended in 1968. In 1973, Shirley married Roger Brauze and they lived happily on the far north coast of New South Wales at Kingscliff and Tweed Heads. Here Shirley worked as the office manager for Border Plumbing for many years. And over this time, Claire had two children, Naomi and Jamie, giving Shirley two beautiful grandchildren. After Shirley and Roger retired, they first moved to Cowra to be close to Shirley's parents and sister and brother-in-law, Marilyn and Alf. 1989 saw them move to the Shoalhaven, North Nowra area. They had many fun times here. I love this bit. Wherever Shirley has lived, her home has always been a happy, welcoming place for family and friends to come and stay. To have family celebrations and all kinds of get-togethers. Shirley and Roger were wonderful hosts and always had a steady stream of friends and family to entertain. Shirley loved to party. No. And had many in North Nowra. In 2007, is it that long, Pete? Paula and Peter moved to this area in 2007, Paula and Peter moved to this area too, to a property at Tapatali, which is up near Nowra. This property had two residences and Shirley and Roger lived there as well until Roger passed away in 2011. All had many happy times in the 10 years they lived at Tapatali. Again, there was a constant stream of visitors from Sydney, Cowra and Canberra. Shirley celebrated her Roaring Twenties themed 80th birthday here. And it was a gala event, you can imagine, can't you? That people still talk about to this day as a fantastic party. And I think you will see some photos of this event in the sideshow later. And when Pete and Paula retired, they decided to move to this magnificent place called Lakes Entrance. And Shirley and Paula's sister Claire, you moved down here too, but you eventually went back to Western Australia. And Shirley stayed in a house in Kalimna, where she lived for the next 7 years. Her last 10 years were particularly happy ones. She had Claire live with her for a couple of years and had Paula and Pete close by. She became a friend of Rotary. We've got lots of Rotary members here supporting Peter and Paula today, and regularly participated in their fundraising events and social outings. And I hear that she was quite lucky at winning many prizes in their raffles. Last year, Shirley's health declined. She suffered falls and a bout of double pneumonia in January, after which she moved into Opal aged care in February. She had several more falls at Opal, and in the last one badly dislocated her hip. This caused her a lot of pain. And eventually she decided to have a hip replacement. And that's got to be about 89, 90 years of age, 92. Have a hip replacement. She knew the risks, but didn't want to live in constant pain with no mobility anymore. And on the 30th of January this year, she had that hip replacement, which was successful. But she suffered a few setbacks that she was just not strong enough to overcome. And sadly, on Wednesday, the 28th of February, Paula and Peter were called to Bairnsdale Hospital, where they stayed for the next 6 hours by Shirley's bedside until she peacefully passed away. You know, Shirley was fortunate that she had good health for most of her life. Of 91 of her 92 and a half years, she was able to live independently, which is an absolute wonder, and with good mobility. She was a most loving and caring person who took a real interest in her friends and her family members. She loved spending time with family wherever possible. And when she couldn't be with them physically, the phone was her lifeline to them, like the streaming service is for all of you on the other end of the camera. She spoke to her daughter Claire and sister Marilyn several times a week. And Paula and Shirley called each other every day. And Paula visited Opal several times every week. Shirley was a faithful friend and kept in touch with friends that she made many years ago. She always remembered people's birthdays. There's always somebody in the family that is the keeper of the memories, isn't there? And sent cards, usually that she made herself. The one recurring thing that people have said about Shirley is that she was a lovely lady. As someone said the other day, she was beautiful inside and out. Thank you, Paula. Come on, it's your turn.
Good morning, and thank you to everyone for joining us here today to celebrate Shirley's life. As Peter said, Shirley was a most loving and caring person, but she was also loved and cared about by many people in return, particularly by the special members of our family. To my sister Claire and to me, Shirley was Mum. Peter called her his Mill. That stands for mother-in-law. She was sister to Marilyn and her late brother Milton. She was wife to her late husband Roger. She was grandma to Naomi and Jamie, grandma Shirl to James and Kate, and to Matt and Michael. Great-grandma Shirl to Ava, Rose and Henry. Great-grandma to Sapphire, Ryan and Shayna. And Auntie Shirley to Bev, Keith, Roy and Deb and their families, as well as Simon and Adam. She loved her family and enjoyed all the occasions she was able to share time with them. And also, as Peter said, Shirley was a faithful and caring friend to many. She sort of collected, some people collect stamps. I think my mother collected friends over the years. And because she had such a kind and welcoming and loving nature, she just attracted people to her. She adored babies and young children, and they loved her too, and loved her cuddles and chats. She made friends easily wherever she went, and she kept those friends forever after. Her longtime friend, Joni Gibson, she met in primary school when they were only 11, and they remained in constant touch for 77 years until Joan passed away 4 years ago. She also remained friends with all of her life with members of Royler and Goffey's family. They were kind of like her surrogate parents, and she met them as a child up in Ballina. Whenever Shirley moved, she just made more friends and added them to her collection. 35 years ago, when Shirley and Roger lived in Shoalhaven, they met Madge and Cyril, Jim and Jan, Anne and Tom, and maintained their friendships long after she moved away. And lots of those people are tuned in today. And as a friend of Rotary here in Lakes Entrance, of course, she made more friends And as Peter said, she loved participating in all of our events. She became friends with her neighbour Sonia and her daughter Jo, who visited her in Opal and in hospital recently, and we thank them very much for that. And when Shirley moved to Opal, she came to know and like residents and staff alike, and she was especially fond of Mary, Peter and Heather, who's here today. She also enjoyed long chats and sometimes a glass of champagne with Rotary ladies such as Eileen, Jenny and Sue when they came to visit. In latter years, especially during lockdown and COVID lockdowns, the phone, as Peter said, became her lifeline, and she was on it all the time. And for the short time when she first moved to Opal, she didn't have a phone yet because she was in a temporary room. And it was, you know, it was like having her tongue cut out because she just couldn't speak to the people that she wanted to often enough. And so I'd have to take my phone there, and then she would be on the phone and hardly talking to me because she was catching up with all the other people. But she always talked several times a week when she could to her sister Marilyn in Cowra, and they would catch up with what was happening in each other's family members' lives. And they'd also share opinions about the latest storyline on Bold and the Beautiful, mostly critical. Marilyn and her family will certainly miss her very much. Shirley spoke to my sister Claire in Western Australia every week. My sister is an excellent darts player, and Shirley loved to hear of Claire's regular tournament wins and was very proud of her achievement. Shirley took a genuine interest in people's lives, and you can't say that about many people these days, I don't think. She just really loved hearing all the minutiae about people's lives, all their ups and downs. Many people phoned Shirley when they were feeling lonely or upset about something, knowing that a chat with a caring and loyal friend would cheer them up. Shirley's passing took many people by surprise, and they expressed their feelings to us about her. There was a recurring theme in their condolences. As Peter said, I've heard the words, Shirley was such a lovely lady, so many times in the last 2 weeks. But she was also a vibrant, classy lady. She was fun-loving and caring. She was easy to talk to and have great conversations with. And she also had a great sense of humour. Even in hospitals, the doctors and nurses used to say, your mother is such a beautiful lady, and so witty and witty. She has us all laughing at some of the things that she comes out with. People would always say to me, your mum is as sharp as a tack. She doesn't talk or act like somebody in their 90s. And Mum would say, so what is the person in their 90s supposed to act like? I said, well, not like you, Mum. And they used to give her regular tests in Opal and in hospital, asking her questions to test her memory and alertness and so on. This often involved naming famous people and asking Shirley to tell what she knew about them. You know, people like Captain Cook or Winston Churchill. She always passed these and other types of memory questions with flying colours. Once, when one doctor asked her what she knew about Charlie Chaplin, she just about told him his life story, where he was born, about his movies, how many times he was married, and so on. And when the doctor asked how she knew so much about him, she said, oh, my father was a big fan, and he told me all about him when I was a little girl. The doctor was quite amazed. What Shirley failed to mention was that she also recently watched a documentary on TV all about him. When next someone would come in and said, oh, I've just got a few questions to ask you, Mum would always say, oh, you're not going to ask me about Captain Cook and Charlie Chaplin again, are you? One day last year, out of the blue, she asked me if when she passed over, if I thought I would give the eulogy. I told her that most likely I thought I would. She paused for a moment, and then she said, what do you think you might say? I laughed and told her I'd remind everyone that sometimes she could be quite a trick. Shirley was a graceful and elegant lady who always dressed beautifully and loved to have her hair done just right. You probably noticed that lovely photo of Shirley at the front desk when she was young. She had black shoulder-length hair, blue eyes and porcelain skin. She looked a bit like a young Jean Tierney. When I was in primary school, my friends used to say enviously, wow, your mum is beautiful. She looks like a movie star. Mum always loved hearing that story. She loved fashion, and when she was in her 20s and 30s, she would go to the fashion parades at David Jones and Meyer in Sydney, and she'd sketch all the dresses on this catwalk that she liked. And my grandmother would then make copies of these dresses for her. I told her if she did that these days, she might be arrested for stealing corporate design. She continued to love to shop for clothes and shoes, and all the 3 bedrooms in her wardrobes in the 3 bedrooms in her house were jam-packed full of clothes. And not just because she bought a lot, but because she never threw anything away. So no matter what the event, she always had the right outfit and was regularly complimented on how lovely she looked. Shirley was also talented when it came to anything to do with art and craft activities. Over the years, she applied her skills to cake decorating, flower arranging, pottery, ceramics, knitting, crocheting, patchwork quilt making, card making, and painting by numbers. Many of you would have received her handmade cards at Christmas and birthdays and admired her paintings in her house and at Opal. Everything artistic she turned her hand to, she did beautifully. She definitely had artistic flair. Shirley was not much of a traveller, but she did travel to Perth to visit Claire, and also when Claire lived for a short time in Tasmania. And together, Shirley and I took a cruise over to see Claire again in West Australia only a couple of years ago. Peter and I took Shirley on her first and only overseas trip to New Zealand to see her friend Madge and her cousin Colleen and her family in Auckland, which she thought was wonderful. And Colleen and her family are tuned in today as well. Before moving to Lakes, Shirley lived on the property at Tapatally with Peter and me, and she absolutely loved it there. And when we were still working, she used to say that she was the caretaker of the acres. We had many fun times there and had lots of visits from Marilyn and her friend Joan. And as Peter said, she also had her roaring 80th birthday, and that's a picture of her there, one of her favourite photos. And she said that was one of the happiest nights of her life, to have so many family and friends all dressed up and looking glam, all in one place just for her. She loved to regularly look through that photo album and relive the whole event. When we moved to Victoria, about 10 years ago, Shirley thought she'd not be able to see her friends and family much, but she needn't have worried. You know, they still came from far and wide to see her. The usual suspects, as I said before, Marilyn and Joan and her son Adam, Mum's niece Bev, Steph and Susan from Canberra, James and Vicky, Kate and Dan, as well as great-grandchildren. And even some of Roger's relatives continued to visit her, such as brother Harold from the Philippines and Matt and Anna and their children from Canberra. She loved living in Lakes Entrance and continued to enjoy good times and many visits to her home. Fortunately, since New Year, not only did she have visits from our family, she was also visited by our friends George and Nicole and Vicky and Ed, which she was thrilled by. In going through her dozens and dozens of photo albums to get pictures for the slideshow, I was reminded of the great times that we shared together with family and friends. There did seem to be a lot of photos that involved parties, eating, drinking around bars, several different bars in different houses, my auntie reminded me the other day. Shirley was a wonderful host and she loved any get-together, formal or informal, any reason to share a glass of champagne, a chat and a good laugh together. She also liked to go out for dinner, but we always wondered whether we should even give her the menu because we knew as her favourite food was fish, that's what she'd order every time. Claire and I consider ourselves honoured and privileged to have had Shirley as our mother. She was a wonderful, devoted and caring parent. But for me, she was also my best friend. We had many fun times together, talking, shopping, talking on the phone, making cards, talking, having meals together, talking, going out for lunch or dinner, having parties with family and friends, and talking. Lots of talking. We never ran out of things to say and talk about to each other. Shirley used to say that having each other to talk to saved us a fortune in therapy. Many people have said to me that Shirley was the person in their lives that they thought would always be there. Sadly, this was not to be. She was a remarkable, generous and delightful woman who taught us all, by her example, what is most important in life: to love, support and care for the family and friends in our lives. We are all better off for having known her and for having been loved by her. She will leave a gaping hole in many people's hearts, but there's no doubt she will be loved forever and remembered always as the beautiful person that she was. Thank you, everybody.
That was beautiful, beautiful, Paula. Many, many wonderful memories. But we've got more memories now and a little bit of extra tributes for Pete to come up and share with us. Please, come on. Well done, Paula. I join Paula in thanking those who will be here today. We greatly appreciate your attendance, especially those travelling long distances to be with us. I'm also conscious of what writers through the ages have called the tyranny of distance that has prevented many others from being physically present here in Lakes Entrance. But modern technology allows those far away to join us from wherever they are in the world. And I welcome those viewing this service, along with Peter, New Zealand, Indonesia, and many distant parts of Australia. One person joining us from her location, almost 4,000 kilometres from Lakes Entrance, is Shirley's younger daughter and Paula's sister Claire. Welcome, little sis. Claire writes, "Mum was a very special lady. She was always there for anyone who needed her help or just needed a chat. Mum and I would often talk about how she didn't like me living so far away from her. When I moved overseas, she was always with me as she was only a phone call away. But when she was so much happier when I returned to Australia. Mum and I talked often, and I told her all about my darts tournament and shared with her in my successes. Mum always kept up with the news, even in my part of the world, over in Western Australia. She disliked technology, and scammers were always shocked when sometimes she would just tell them, "You're wasting your time. I've got nothing smart here in this place." My words cannot express how much of a positive impact she had on many people's lives. She touched so many hearts. I love you, Mum, and I will hold you in my thoughts and heart forever. Also, some words written by Kate, Dan, and 3 great-grandchildren. 13-year-old Ava, 9-year-old Rose, and 6-year-old Henry. They write, "We're all devastated to hear the news of Shell's passing. Visits to Lakes Entrance will never be the same again. We will all miss her warmth, kindness, gentle words, and her nature and beautiful hugs. Grandma Shell was almost made to be a great-grandmother. As soon as Shell met Ava, Rose and Henry, they were wrapped up in a cuddle and gently rocked to sweet humming lullabies, probably wearing the latest knitted cardigan she had just whipped up. As they got older, they were treated to the best morning and afternoon teas with fairy cakes, jam drops, slices and cups of tea. Ava was lucky to have had trips around the fairy garden in Tapatelli, holding hands with Shirley. Ava, Rosie and Henry would have chats with Shirley over morning tea, telling her all about their best friends, their favourite subjects at school, or their sporting achievements. They were treated to tours of Shirley's latest paintings and her enormous shell collection when they'd drop in at Kalimna. Henry even did, at 6 years of age, Henry even did a show and tell at school with props, telling everyone all about Grandma Shell with all her amazing shells. As well as being a source of patience, light, kindness and positivity in our lives, you could always rely on Shirley for a party and some fun and laughs. Kate says, I will always remember being gently chastened by her at Dad's 50th birthday, that long ago. Dad's 50th birthday, when a drink of mine accidentally slipped off the table as I placed it down. She quietly tapped Kate on her lap and said, "You've probably had enough now, dear." Kate says she'll remember that long. Cheryl was even convinced to hop on a very twirly teacup ride here in Lake's entrance at the carnival with Ava and Grandma Paula not all that long ago. We are very sad we cannot be there today to help celebrate the life of Cheryl and Grandma Shell. We will send her off in our own way with a cheers of champers for the grown-ups and a clink of Kinder Surprises for the kids. We love her very much and know that heaven will be treated to the very best fairy cakes, jam drops and cups of tea. I finish with the words inspired by an anonymous poet many years ago. You can shed your tears that Cheryl is gone, or you can smile because she has lived a full life shared with all of us. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see the wonderful things that she has given to the world. Your heart can be empty because you can see her no more, or your heart can be full because of the love she gave us all. To me, Shirley will always be remembered as a beautiful, graceful lady who welcomed me into her family many, many years ago. She loved life so much and is truly an inspiration to those who knew her. God bless you, Shirley.
Well done. Well done.
I love that. I think you've had enough. She would have said it so quietly. Time to pause, ladies and gentlemen, and out of those 50 photo albums, we've found some beautiful memories. Thank you, Ray.
To me, turned a baby into a
Let's say goodbye with a smile, dear, just for a while, dear, we must part. Don't let this parting upset you, I'll not forget you, sweetheart. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies chase those dark clouds far away. And I will just say hello to the folks that you know, tell them you won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as I saw you go, you were singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Just say hello to the folks that you know, tell them you won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as I saw you go, you were singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Very good. What did you think? What did you think? Amazing. Just happy life. Happy life. Just amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is from Shirley. Her express wish was for you all, please, to stay together here at the golf club for a cuppa and a bite to eat. Oh, for heaven's sake, teachers, school teachers, one more reading. What? Vicky, I will be with you in just a moment. I have something to share with everybody. Now, where was I? Where was I? Melbourne's going to be put... No. It was Shirley's express wish that you all stay together here, please, at the golf club for a cuppa. We are going to take Shirley on her last journey up to where she'll be laid to rest. It will be very brief because that's what she wanted. So it'll only be immediate family, and we will be back as soon as is reasonably possible. But please stay together here. Now, Vicky, I'd like to invite you up to share, please, some words and memories. Vicky is a long time and much loved family member. I've been told you are most welcome.
Thank you. Well, this is a surprise to be here. I'd like to share with you our first meeting with Shirley, which was quite unusual. Paula and I, excuse me, had been working together. I'll use that communal glass in a minute. Paula and I had met when we were working together, and we got to know Peter very well and enjoyed their company and over many different evenings together. And on one occasion, they said to us, "We're going to take you away for a mystery weekend." "Ooh, that sounds good. Like mystery weekends. We'll pick you up Friday night, put you in the car, we'll drive to where we're going. Just be ready at 6. Okay, so we got in the car and we drove. We headed south. We were all living in Sydney at the time, but we headed south, heading towards Nowra, and not knowing where we were going, had no idea. Then we pulled off at North Nowra and sort of went inland a little bit, only a little bit, and then turned into the driveway of just a regular suburban home. And Ed and I are sitting in the back seat thinking, where are we? What's going on? We went inside, and of course, that's where we met Paula's mum, Shirley, and her husband, Rog, and we had the most delightful weekend with them, and that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship that we had all the time. And as you heard, Paula and Peter moved down to Nowra, and Shirley and Roger moved into the sort of the granny flat that was attached to their home, and they were always there. And as we got to know Shirley more and more, we became aware of her love of that 1920s fashion. She had a beautiful painting on her wall, and we'd often talk about the person in the painting. And then we started sending each other greeting cards, and the greeting cards were always the ones of these beautiful 1920s glamorous women, sometimes accompanied with men. And then Shirl decided she'd start making up a little story about these people in the greeting cards. And suddenly Ed and I found ourselves as part of a wonderful adventure that took place back in the 1920s style. She had us going on trips on the Orient Express, trips to Paris, always with our fine feathers, looking wonderful. Paulette and Pierre often accompanied us on these journeys, and we had this exchange took place. Sometimes there was a response that came back to her, and that inspired her to write another one. And for a number of years, we would go looking for these cards, and gradually, I don't know if you're aware of that whole series, but gradually they've been phased out to the point where in the last couple of years, Shirley and I have been cutting up old cards and sticking them on the cover and sending them to each other that way. But it was just, our memories of Shirley have always been fun memories. Holding of the champagne glass, as you saw in all those, many of the slides, being a feature of our very fond memories of her. She was a beautiful woman. And as we keep hearing the recurring theme of people saying what a lovely lady Shirley was. And this week, another tribute came that was, Paula read to me, it was on one of her cards, that said she was an angel on earth, now to be an angel in heaven, which I think says it so well. She was a beautiful woman. She had her own special way of making people feel important, and she put others before herself in her consideration of them. And so the poem that I am about to read to you would be one, if you think of Shirley and think of her saying these words, because this is how it goes. And it says, to my family and friends, now I am gone, release me, let me go. You have so many things to see and do. You must not tie yourself to me with tears, but be happy that I had so many years. I gave you all my love, and you can only guess how much you gave me back in happiness. I thank you for the caring that each of you has shown, but now it's time for me to travel on alone. So grieve a while for me, if you must. Then let your grief be comforted by trust that it is only for a while that we must part, so you must hold the many memories in your heart. Though you cannot see or touch me, I will be near, And if you listen with your heart, then you will hear all of my love around you, soft and clear. Be happy as you recall the fun times, and we will never be apart. And I will live forever, locked safely in your heart.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. It's time for us to say farewell to Shirley. The legacy is a wonder. All the things that we've heard, all the words that have been used, positivity, enthusiasm, there's about, if I had, I could take my boots off and count them, all those words are Shirley. It's as simple as that. If the world had, about 114 million other Shirleys, it'd be a much better place than it is now. Just an absolute wonder. I've got to finish off though with telling you that Shirley and her teddy was given to her on her birth. Well, in the guest house where Shirley was, Mum was, there was a group of fellas who lived there that all chipped in, probably, I don't know, a couple of pence back in those days, something like that. They all chipped in, so it was a very, very special gift that Shirley brought with her for 92 and a half years, and it is only perfect that she goes to rest now. I've got to use what you wrote, Paula, as my final words. Of all the blessings we've received along the way, there's been no gift more cherished than to have you, Mum, in our yesterdays. Claire, for you as well, and for all of us here. Thank you all so much for being here. Remember, stay together, please. Don't eat all the party pies. The golf club girls cater generously and well, and we'll be back very, very soon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much. And our final song.
Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Cheerio, here I go on my way. Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Not a tear, make it gay. Give me a smile I can keep all the while in my heart while I'm away. Till we meet once again, you and I. Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Give me a smile I can keep all the while in my heart while I'm away. Till we meet this again, you and I.
And a little bump over here as we come over. Hands to me.
I'll squeeze through there and then go with you boys. Right.
And we've got another little bump as we come down. Yep, you're right. Keep stable. Another bump at the back we go. Come around. you want to stop, everyone feels comfortable, we'll lift. So 1, 2, 3, lift, then walk forward. Thank you.
Righty.
Everyone's okay?
Right. Righty.
Going to lift up onto the bar here. I'll do that for you tonight. Would you guys like to put your name and do that here for like 10 to 15 seconds? In the book, because I'm going to do this for do you want to lean on here? Thank you.
What's the word?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought.
I'm used to it.
You're not the first person to think he's winding it up. Because it sounds like
No, we got more.
You're going to follow me? Yes.
Up there,
I'll
right?
pull out here and I'll wait for you.
Yeah, just here, right here, at the top of the...
All right, we'll leave it.